up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and Dope Living TV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Yo, what's up? It's your guy, Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates, all right? What's going on, Mo B?
Slow motion, man. Slow motion.
Hey, man, we got a masterclass going tonight.
All right.
Got a masterclass. This amazing individual, man. I've known her for quite some time. And I can honestly say that if there's an opportunity that makes sense to her, she's going to take it and she's going to excel at it. You feel me? This I do know. Now, I could go into there's one story that her and I would both laugh about, but and it happened at an auto store, but I'm gonna let that one go. We ain't gonna
we ain't gonna say who that was, right?
This is blood could not make us any closer. This is my sister. Okay, she's the CEO of JTDKB Enterprises. She's gonna tell us about that. Her name is Rachel Gary, and she, as you've seen on the show, she gives us some wisdom about taking control of your life. All right, become the CEO of your life, and what she does is she encourages everybody to change their thinking. To encourage the habits that are necessary to get you to that CEO level, that CEO mindset, so that you can live a successful life. All right. So you're going to talk to us today about her journey and let us know exactly how we can become CEOs of our life. Everybody, Mo, and I'm going to say this too. Okay. I'm not going to make the jokes that I had planned. All right. There's been a lot of stuff talking about first of all, football legend O.J. Simpson died today.
Yeah.
All right. Some people are saying, well, finally justice is served.
Really?
Yeah, people are saying some crazy stuff, man. But me personally, you don't want to see anybody die. All right.
Really?
What happens in their life?
These days, man.
It's crazy, man. But you know what? Condolences to him and his family. And I hope everybody gets through this. All right. What's going on, Gina?
Hey, everybody.
In the pink room. In the pink room.
So hey man, look, I'm gonna tell you, I had a tragedy yesterday, right? I had another one today.
God, man. I
don't know. They say it happened in 3, so I'm gonna grab that OJ and make that the 3rd. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we got. Let's not even waste any more time. Okay, like I said, this lady here has really exemplified what we always talk about here, is going through it to get to it. She is the CEO of, I gotta say the letters right, JTDKB Enterprises. She does a lot of public speaking, motivational speaking, and she is empowering everybody to change their thinking to encourage the habits that are necessary to get you to that CEO mindset to build success. Everybody say what's up to Rachel Gary.
Rach.
Hello.
Welcome, Queen. Welcome.
Thank you, Queen.
What's going on, Rachel?
Hey, I am so honored to be here, especially with an old friend that is more like a brother. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity to grace or be graced with the presence of all of you great people. And soon I'm hoping to have opportunity to be in a Writers Guild with Gina, because my book is in the process. But we'll talk about that throughout the time.
All right, let's do this.
I'm gonna need some extra help.
Okay, you got it.
And let's make no mistake about this, okay? It's our blessing to have you on here to share your journey, your story, as well as the things that you're doing now. You know, we have fun on the show, but we try to make sure people learn something, okay? And today I already know, because I know Rachel, this is going to be a masterclass, all right? So Gina, get it ready. It's a shame Marcy not on here. Yeah, I mentioned Marcy. It's a shame she's
I
not
was
on.
looking forward to saying hello to Miss Marcy.
She's tuning herself up for the weekend.
All right.
She may be on later. So
It
Rachel,
is that time.
It is that time. So again, thank you for coming on to the show, man, and giving us what in advance this masterclass we can go. So tell us about your journey, man. And I know some of it, okay, but it's not on me to tell it, or it's on you to tell it, okay? So tell us about your journey.
No problem. So first, I want to make sure that I say that I have been blessed. Life has been a blessing to me. And the journey that I'm going to take you guys on is just so you guys understand where I came from, what made me decide I was going to be the CEO, and how to help another individual to be the CEO of their lives as well.
Absolutely.
So I want to start by saying, no matter where you came from, you can always do more, be more, and have more. I want to start there. So I'm going to tell a little story. I'm not going to go as far back as when my mom and my dad and they were across the bar from each other. But
say, come here, sweet thing. What's your name?
But I'll say it this way. I grew up in the Chicago area. And what I'll say is what made my life unique is that my mother was a gypsy. She lived everywhere in the Chicago area. I have lived in every corner, have met every race, and have had the opportunity to have some great things happen in my life. So most people, when they have issues in their lives, somehow it went off on us. Okay, hold on. Sometimes when you have issues in your life, you hold on to those issues and you're living in them on an everyday basis. And I'm gonna tell you a little about my story so you can get to why I can tell you can get out of it. So my mother was a gypsy. My grandmother raised me up until I was 8 years old. And my mother decided when I was 8 that she wanted me to live back with her and my siblings. For me, if you guys grab my book, you'll see it more in my book, but that was a crushing day in my life. And it was a pivotal point in my life. But I attribute a lot of my success to the fact of that one pivotal day. When in my mind, I was taken away from the only mother who was nurturing to me. However, it took me on a journey of being a more resilient person. I was a person who took care of three kids. Two kids. My younger sister and brother. I'm the eldest sibling of 4, and I had to take care of them on an everyday basis. Their needs, their wants, because my mother, she worked a lot. So when you're the eldest child, what are you doing? You're taking care of the house, the kids, the life, and making sure that they have everything they need. But it was a step further. Because as I said, my mother being that gypsy, when it came to meals, making sure that we had food on the table for a day, I went out there and I hustled. So I've been hustling since I was 9. So I've had some type of job, from raking leaves, shoveling snow, mowing lawns, everything from when I was a child.
Hustle up.
And I said it made me the person I am today. And everything from your past makes you who you are. So right. I'm not mad at any of it. Right. And I embrace all of it because it allowed me to be that resilient, brilliant person I'm here talking to y'all right now. So
that's it.
So fast forward to in high school, I was a straight A student when I went. As I said, I didn't have much guidance at home. So as I said, I didn't have much guidance at home. So I fell into some of those bad crowds. You know, when you don't have those figures at home that are guiding you in the correct directions, you fall into the drugs, the gangs, and life. So I was part of that life. And all of that changed. And I'm going to give the date. It was 9/15/1996.
Let's go.
That was the day my eldest child was born.
Mm.
That day, so I'm going to tell you a story that you probably the first people who've heard the story. That
Is it in the book?
it'll be in the book,
Right.
but I will give a snippet of it.
Okay.
It was at the point in time when my son was born. I was still living in the street life.
Mm.
And when you're living in the street life, anybody who's out there who know about the street life, when you want out, you get jumped out or you get shot out. There's no get out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, I was a business person. I was about business. So when I had my conversation with the young man who I was running for, I told him, I want out and this is what I'll do. So I made my terms as opposed to the other way around. I told him that this is what I'll do. I'll get rid of everything you got. I'll do everything you need. There'll be no fighting, there'll be no violence, and there'll be no sex. Don't get that. So there'll be none of that.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I had that understanding. When my son was born, I went over there, had my conversation, and I was out. Out. Never to go back, never to have a conversation about it ever again. Out.
Okay, so let me interject there.
Ask the question.
So now the life that you were living, you said in your mind, okay, I'm done. So that meant that you had to literally start all the way over. You had nothing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Nothing.
You know, I think, like you said, that the experience actually was a teacher, because that right there that put you right up on the game right there. So I could talk my way out of anything. I talk my way out of this. So
absolutely,
the hustle was on. I got you. Go ahead.
But was it really talking your way out of it, or just making that decision and saying, okay, I'm going to navigate? You know, I'm not going to lie. I want out. This is how it's got to be. Now, he could have easily said, well, no, it ain't going to be that easy. See, and this, I'm saying this, and I'm saying this because I know, Rachel, it's not what she says, it's how she says it.
It was. Right? I came to him like he was a businessman, because regardless of what people think about the streets, they're businessmen out there. Well, now I don't know about now. The life is a little different in those streets now. But I want to go into the streets and then what they have going on now. I mean, it's craziness what I hear going on in the world. But they were businessmen back then. When you have a business conversation, now I knew I couldn't come to them, hey, I want out, I'm never coming back. Mm. You have to bring something to the table to take away from the table. Because we're talking about, I was a female in a male game, that the reason why they let me in is because I was a female and police weren't looking for me. Mm. So, and that's why they let you in. But to get out, I had to make it be a good proposal for that gentleman. So him and I had a conversation, and I'm going to tell you, I walked away that day. I shook his hand and told him this was it. And he shortly thereafter, he was murdered. That was a very sad situation, but knew what we had going on. But it just, at the end of the day, it was us having that conversation, and mostly because they had a respect for the fact that I was a person and I wasn't just an object. I'd always put myself in that way, so I would never be in the streets in a wild way. I'll say it that way. I've never been in any situations where I've been in any shootings or been in any real rough situations. Okay,
so let's go back to that again. So
yes, sir.
You cut it. What did you do after that?
I'll say this: when you're used to making $4,000 or $5,000 a day,
right?
And now that's so. I'll tell the story of where I was sleeping on the floor. So it was at this point had to move in with my kids' father's parents. I was used to having my own, doing my own. I never had I never was in a position to need someone else's help. I was always the person who provided help, never needed someone's help. But in this situation, because the only way I knew was hustling. I had to find a different mindset to be able to get to a better place. And looking at my son, and shortly 10 months later, I had my daughter. I looked at those two people and I said, I have to be someone they look up to. I can't be in the same cycle that that I was in, where I had fallen into the trap of what the streets to find those parents and that love on the streets. Not saying I didn't have love for my other family members, but when you have that solidarity in your house, it's totally different. It's a totally different life.
I agree totally. So you're sleeping on the floor. You ain't got nothing, okay? Now, and I think this leads to the CEO mindset that you developed, if I'm not mistaken. So I know, and I'm going to keep interjecting the things that I know about her. I know that you don't settle. You make things happen.
Absolutely.
So take us on that path. So you got to get back on your feet. Now you got to do things, because as everybody know, I'm quite sure everybody here, everybody in the audience, you can be doing a lot of stuff out there, but when a child comes, if you're thinking right, when a child comes, you got to change that whole thing. Because like Rachel just said, she wants them to be better. She wants them to see her in a good light, as opposed to that street light or whatever light that any of us get into. Okay, so as you develop that CEO mindset, or how did you develop the CEO mindset? Let's put it that way.
Well, I'll say this. It was not in the beginning. So I'll tell you guys this. So when my kids were born, so we're talking about during this time, there was a lot of turmoil that happened. A lot of things took place. At that point in time, it was hard. Because I mean, as I said, when you're used to making real money, when someone talks to you about a $5 now, because this is still when minimum wage was $5.15, $5.50, and you're talking $5.50 an hour, you're like, come on, I can't work for $5.50 an hour. And until a baby can't eat, until WIC doesn't, you don't get WIC until 2 days later, and your baby doesn't have a can of milk. When your mind frame changes. So the first job I got, my grandfather. So I have to tell the story so you guys can understand the dynamics of the life. My mother was a gypsy. My grandfather was a police officer, and he had just become a security liaison during this time. And my grandmother she lived in the downtown Chicago area. So I knew what wealth looked like, and I knew what prosperity looked like. And I will say I've had some being privileged in that way, because a lot of people can't leave the ghetto mentality alone because they don't know it's more.
Right.
And for me, I had seen there was more, so I knew there could be more. So I swallowed the pride, called my grandfather, and asked him to come work for him. He said, I'm not going to have no mess in here, no garbage. I mean, give the whole spiel. Because, I mean, he knew where I come from. He knew what I was doing in the world. He wasn't oblivious. So with him knowing what I was doing, he said, I don't want any of that mess here. I told him, you'll never have a problem. Not one. So I went to work for him for several years. I worked probably like 16 hours a day. He owned a laundromat, as well as he was a minority bidder for the city. So he had two businesses that I worked 8 hours in one, went next door and worked 8 hours in the other. I said this, I made enough money to make sure my kids had food, make sure they had clothes, but not enough money for them to have a place of their own. So it was many years later before we got to a point of us having a place of our own. And that's when I met Greg. So by that time, my kids were 6 and 7, and I said this, the place that we worked, I won't name the company. So where we met, I was working on one of the manufacturing lines, and as I said, I was a hustler. So when I came to work, to work, because at this point, I took that hustle mentality to, okay, how do I come to work and do what I have to do? They showed me how to do something. My ability to take on information was rapid. If you tell me something 2 minutes, if I see you do it, I got it.
She got
So, they showed me how to do things all over the line. So I was working on 2 different sides of the line, and I was working different places. But they had a policy that after 90 days, I was a temporary worker there. So after 90 days, they had to terminate you. And what took place on the 80th day was one of the managers from the line. He went across the street. We had 3 different buildings at the time. He went across the street and talked to a manager over there and said, "We have to keep her working here. What can we do?" And he said, "We have to let her go." And they came and told me that they were going to let me go. And I said, "No worries." I found another job a week later. So they called me 28 days because it had to be the 30. We had to get 30 days. You couldn't be with the company before they could bring you back. So 28 days, they called me on my phone. They didn't call the agency. They called me and said, "Can you come back?" I said, "Hey, I have to give my current employer 7 days." So I want to take a step back. That what changed, the mentality that had to change to go from that street person to the person that actually could hold down a full-time job. It wasn't just that the baby needed milk. It was that I looked at them and I wanted them to look at me and see me as a person and know that when I left this house, I was coming back. Before, it didn't matter in my mind. So I want to make sure we take it back to the mentality back then. It didn't matter if I came home or not before. So there's risks you'll take for you that you're not going to take when there are other people involved.
Yeah.
So that was the mentality that I had to change to be able to do what I was doing in my life to get the job. So that was the step of when we were at the final place, January 11th, 2004. That's the day I took control of my life and said, I am going to, at this point, do what I have to do to be more successful. I was making $6 an hour, still sleeping on someone's couch, and my kids were sleeping on an air mattress. And we still, in my mind, we still didn't have anything. They were able to eat, but they weren't able to go into a room of their own. So I said, what do I need to do? How do I need to grow? And who do I need to be able to do that?
And a lot of people can't even do that. They don't generalize like that. Real quick, Danny Marie said, thanks, Rachel, for the great energy you put out into the world. I enjoy being on your email list. Also, happy you turned your story around. Incredible story.
Thank you. I'm glad you're getting good information from those emails.
Yeah, you actually, Danny Marie, when she was on our show, Rachel contacted her and connected, and they've been connected ever since.
Absolutely.
Two individuals, I'm saying 2 individuals that are really making a change and making a name. So I know the part about the work, the job, and this and that because Rachel and I had talks. We had a lot of talks. We would sit down at the lunch table and just chop it up because a lot of people were jealous of the way that she went about it. When she worked, she wasn't talking to nobody. It was like she had headphones on. She wasn't talking to nobody. She was doing a job. All right. To a point where they recognized it. And the story she just told, absolutely true. Her 90 days, she told me 90 days coming up, but I'm going to be good. And she came back and they started elevating her in positions. They started elevating her. And I was like, wow, I should tell a story about AutoZone, but I'm not going to do it.
Him and his AutoZone. Tell the story, Greg, because it's crazy. He brings it up every time. It's just crazy.
I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. Then we're gonna get back to the knowledge. Rachel and I went up to the AutoZone one day, right? Now, Rachel is what do you want to call it? I don't want to say it wrong. In the LGBTQ community, okay. So there was this fine ass girl.
That get him every time. That get him every time, don't it? Oh, this is
hey, you know me. I'm spitting game, dude, and y'all know I get good. I'm spitting game.
Oh boy.
I'm spitting game. So Rachel going around looking for stuff, and then after I spit game, the girl kind of just said, well, you know, she was really nice. She said, well, no, I'm not interested. And I went and looked for something. So Rachel was checking out. We went back to the car. Rachel was like, so great, because I told her when I saw her, I said, I'm gonna get her. She said, did you get a number? I said, nah, she wasn't even feeling me, man. And Danny Marie, you're right. Rachel took my girl. Okay.
That is not what happened.
Rachel said,
and you wasn't even spitting game, Rachel.
I didn't even say anything, young lady.
He wasn't spitting game. Rachel, and then she said, did you get the number? I said, nah, man, she wasn't feeling me. Rachel reached in the pocket and said, beep. I did.
I did do that.
I was like, God, dog.
And what did I do with the number, though, Greg?
You threw it away.
I threw it away. I didn't want the number.
She threw it away. Rachel did not spit game. The girl gave it to her. All right.
Wow.
Which I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know, when you have that aura, people gonna come.
She knew a boss babe when she saw her.
Don't help him out, please.
I tell that story like I tell my Danita Bohannon story, man. Okay, it's like, hey,
boy.
I think I told you that story before.
Oh, here we go.
No, you never told us that story. Never.
Oh, here you go. That's what happened.
Never. He kept that one under his hat, Rachel.
He couldn't wait till I got on here so he could see my reaction to the story.
He kept that one under wraps.
In the meantime, Rachel is happily, but she's been happily married for what, 10, 11, 12 years?
12 years. We just celebrated our 12th anniversary. We've been together 16 years.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you. On the 7th of April, May, 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, most definitely. See, I didn't forget. I knew. That's why I said 10, 11, or 12. I knew it was one of them. All right. But anyway, let's get back to the CEO mentality. So we've done all of this. You've done the transformation. So now you say, okay, well, look. Oh, no, well, let me rephrase it again. At what point did you say, well, hey, look, I'm tired of building them staircases in somebody else's house. It's time for me to build that elevator in my house.
Same time. So during the time I was working with this company where Greg was talking about elevator, and people, the funny part of the story was that there was a fight in a hallway. Now I'm going to tell that part of the story. There were 3 directors fighting in a hallway because they had all went to HR to get a rec to determine what job I was going to take. They hadn't talked to each other, but had created a job where we're creating recs. So it was the funny part of the whole thing is that all of this started because I had determined that I was going to get my kids off the couch. I was going to get them into their own house, and they were going to feel ownership. And that's what made me make a change. So I'm not a person. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I never drank and I never smoked. It's not like alcoholism. I've always been a level-headed individual. And I don't knock people that do. Everyone has their vices. My vices usually just cost me money when they need something. So, yeah. But otherwise, I would say that with me always keeping the level head made it where I was just able to make those concessions and say, okay, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be? And I'll tell you, the day that I decided I was going to be the CEO, I swiped a credit card. That was the day that I decided I was going to be a CEO. I had $350. Mind you guys, I said I was still sleeping on the couch, kids still sleeping on the air mattress. And I had a $350 credit card. And I'm going to tell you this part of the story. I had borrowed $20 from the gentleman that's on this call, Greg, so I could get home that day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a car yet.
Right.
So I had swiped the credit card saying that I had swiped the credit card for shoes, for clothes, for phones. But I said I was swiping it today for success. And I had gotten into a leadership class so I could build the person I needed to be for the next levels. And from there, I just was very diligent on doing the right things, working with the right people, and cultivating and developing relationships. So when I got that promotion, the final promotion with the company that we were both with, I wasn't ready. I was like 26, 27 at the time, and I wasn't ready for that life. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. I wasn't ready to manage people. I was a phenomenal worker. And I want to say this to everybody out there. If you are in any leadership roles, make sure that you are cultivating the next person that you promote. Just because they are a good worker doesn't mean they're going to be a good leader. I didn't become a good leader till much later in time. And I thank the person who had the faith in me, who said yes to me, because it made me decide that I wasn't the person I needed to be to work with other people and different personalities. I was just an awesome person. I just did an awesome job. Right. And I want to make sure I put that disclaimer out there for anybody who's in leadership. Make sure that you give that person an opportunity to grow into a leader, not only because of their work ethic.
You did that. So
during that, go ahead. So let me answer your question. So during that time, I had already started a business. I had started a cleaning service during the same time. So I was working the full-time job, and I had started a cleaning service. So I was already getting into the entrepreneurial spirit always. I just felt that you have to control what you can control. And the only person you can really control is you.
Yeah.
You can't control your kids, your spouse, life, anything in general. You just can control how you respond or react to a situation. Reaction usually means you're part of the problem. Respond usually is when you have a solution and you think.
Come on, girl.
So
I like that. I was talking to somebody the other day about controlling, your destiny. I mean, if it's something that even if it's something that negative comes at you, you can't control that. So why stress it out? Why let that block you? You cannot control it. Keep moving. It happened. It is what it is. Keep it moving. So I mean, so now you're promoting the CEO mindset. Tell us about that.
So what I'll say is that 6 months ago, I made the decision. A job I had all up until this time. I've always had a job, because I always feel that until you can replace your job's income, and because of the fact of how I continually moved up within companies, because going to another organization, at this point I had developed my people skills, those soft skills that are needed. I want to say it one more time to any managers out there, leaders out there. Soft skills are required to provide leadership. If you're managing somebody, you're doing the wrong job. You need to lead them from the person they are so they can help your organization. They cannot help your organization if you don't build them. Sorry, I have to always give that disclaimer to everybody. So once I developed those soft skills, I constantly was promoted. So I ended my career. I ended my corporate career, we'll say it that way, as an operations manager. So when I left that company, I was a level 1 supervisor. When I decided I was going to exit the actual proverbial workforce, I was an operations manager. And the only reason I'll say this, and I have to say this because I want to state, at the point in time when Greg and I first met, I was making $6.75 an hour. When I left the job that I just left, I was making multiple 6 figures. Now, I want to state this: money doesn't make you happy. Positions don't make you happy.
Right.
What you do with the money, how you live your life, is what makes you happy. So if you think that getting more money, as I said, multiple 6 figures. I currently own multiple millions of real estate assets throughout the Chicagoland area. So that first house that I bought when right after, I say about a year after all of this took place with the company we worked with, I ended up renting that house out, then buying more real estate and developing more. And during that time, it was all about growing me. I got a coach. I did mentorship, all of those things, because what I realized, and I don't say this because I'm a coach, what I realized is that until you get help, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. We all think from the sphere of the information we have. If you don't talk to another individual that has more information than you, you're going to always be in your circle of folks until you learn something new, until you gain a little more knowledge. You don't know, as I said, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. You don't know what you don't know. And you never know unless you try.
Try.
You know?
Absolutely.
Gotta coin that one. Gotta coin it.
No, right? Gotta coin it. We need our stenographer. Gotta coin it. So
gotta get that transcript on that.
Gotta do it. Rachel, you speak around the region, the country actually, encouraging people. How are those people and do they come to you after your presentation and try to seep in more information?
Absolutely. So I currently do a lot of mentorship. It took me a little while to be able to have those conversations in a group setting. I'm a very introverted person. And as Greg alluded to in the beginning, where he said that I used to have like headphones on, as I said, I was very introverted. And it took a lot of time for me to get out of my own way. I want to say that again, get out of my own way and propel forward. So when I usually have any kind of speech, whenever I give any kind of talk, and it's normally, I always center it around whatever that group is. Let's say if we're talking about a group of welders, no matter what industry you're in, you're always trying to develop yourself as a person. And I have those conversations where I talk to companies about developing the person so that person can help you develop a company. If you're trying to grow a company, your people within that company have to be satisfied with themselves to be able to help you grow. So, and a lot of times from that, I have those conversations with, how do I work with you? Afterwards, how do I work with you? Yeah. And I tell everyone, it took me a while to create a course. I've been helping people for 20 plus years. When you just ask me a question, I say, let's sit down and talk. That's where me and Greg were chopping it up. I've been this person forever. As far as the person who people feel like they can come to and talk to. And when people come talk to me, I usually say, okay, what's your problem? And they give me the problem and I say, okay, so what is your why? Why do you want to solve this problem? I give them like probably 6 or 7 whys till we get to the real root. Because when people say I want more money, I say, why? Because I want to buy things. Why? Because I want to live in a bigger house. Why? And usually all after the 5th, 5th, or 6th why, it gets to they just want time freedom. And that's a little different than just wanting money. Because money doesn't give you time freedom. So when I ask those questions, it's asking those questions so we get to the root cause so they can find success in that. So if you want time freedom, what does time freedom look like to you? And when you have that freedom, what do you want to do? So that last why usually is they want to spend more time with their families. And then I get the one more why after that. And then they always like, that's it. It's not. It's what you want to give your family. You want the information you want to impart on them. Can you think about it this way? Okay, I got a question. I know. So when you guys do things, when you're not here on Dope Living, and you're living your dope lives, when you have time, when you're sitting down talking to Jordan, when you use Jordan for instance, when you're sitting down talking to Jordan, you have time to talk to Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And if you were working 16-hour day, you wouldn't have that time to talk to Jordan.
Right.
And when you have that time to sit down and talk, and you're not tired, you're not worn out, and you can actually articulate some words and actually get the real feelings about what they have going on in their lives, you're able to help them be a better person.
Okay.
It's harder to do that when you have no time with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, she does know Jordan. She's been knowing Jordan since he was what, 6, 7?
7. Yeah. And my son still talks about let my people go.
we'd have to get deep into the stories for y'all to understand what that.
That's Greg being Greg.
And I had him cracking up, but he was, man, look, it's an amazing journey that she's gone on. So before we go any farther, all right, Rachel blessed us with another CEO moment. So even though she's here, we got a moment, all right. So let's play that one, and she can explain this one. All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
How do goals enhance your life, and why are they important? 3 quick reasons. They allow you to know when you are on a course of success, allow you to keep a measured activity of where you are in that progression. And third, they allow you to have better quality of life. And this is what you're trying to do to be the CEO of your life. Until later, be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You. Stay the course, CEO.
Right.
Oh, all right. That is another CEO of your life moment. Now, Rachel,
I wasn't ready for that.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
So, goals, guys. I'll make the brief version of it. Everything in your life you do is goals. From the time you get up in the morning to go to the restroom till you go to bed at night. And from you finding love, to you being in love, to you keeping that love, to you growing yourself in your life. Everything is a goal. And having direction and having a strategy to reach those goals is what sets you apart and allows you to be successful quicker. So when I mean stay the course as the CEO, I have a thing about everyone being a CEO. So when I tell people, when I'm talking to you guys out there, if you're listening, hear it this way. When I say you're CEO, I always say you are a CEO of my life. And the reason why I tell you put your hands together, because at this point in time, you are taking ownership. Because the CEO says you having clarity in your actions, having empowerment of your choices, and having ownership of your direction. And when you own it, you're going to take care of it a little differently. Then it goes to this way. When you're still leasing, when you're still paying your lease on your house or your lease on your car, you don't care about it as much until when that car and that house is paid off. It's paid off and you own it, you're paying a little more attention to it. So just like you own those things, that's a possession. But when you own your life, that means that you are owning the possession that allows you to gather the possession.
Well said. That's that masterclass we were talking about earlier. So, Rachel, do you think that everyone can become a CEO of their life?
Absolutely. You guys are already the CEOs of your lives. That's the big main thing. That's why you're the CEO of my life. Every decision you make on an everyday basis, it takes your life in either direction. So if you want to have more positivity in your life, I'm going to give you one tip. I'm not even going to give you 10 tips. One tip. Start doing more positive things. If social media is your food of choice, like for me, I'm only on social media 1 hour a week. That's in my entirety. And it's not because I'm gonna tell you, I fill my life with a whole lot of other things. I coach on Wednesdays and I coach on Thursdays. So Wednesdays, I have 4 coaching classes on that day because everyone has a different level in which they're asking questions on. So I make sure I divide those groups up so the people who are at a higher level have that opportunity to get that quicker coaching. And the people that need me to dive a little deeper into what they're talking about, I want to make sure they get that special one-on-one coaching. Ask a little more questions where they can say, hey, I need to dive into, hey, I want to buy a new house, but I don't know yet. So a lot of people come talk to me, especially because I'm in real estate. They want to talk to me about houses, but I tell people the biggest way to any goal, anything you want to do is to really be clear. Have clarity. That's why the C is first, for clarity. You have to be clear on where you want to go. Because I know you guys put my post out there where I talk about that lion focus. You got to have it. You have to
Gina
be
liked
you have to be focused.
Gina liked that one.
Oh
Hey,
yeah. That was my favorite.
yeah. So Gina, I'm a nature channel buff. So I got that from a lioness because people think lions. They say lions are the king of the jungle, but
Mm-mm.
lioness actually hunt. The
Hmm.
lions don't hunt. Lioness hunt. So
He's
so I
just,
always tell her if you watch the lioness, she's creeping real low. And she's taking opportunity to decide when she's going to pounce. And I always think of it, if she had to be that focused to get one prey, man, you got to be that focused to get on the go.
yeah. That's a great analogy. So if there was, because I know this is your business now, right? And Gina also does real estate. This is your business, but if there was I'd say a insider tip on how to stay focused and how to become that CEO, what would it be?
Get rid of distractions. I would say self-care. And what I mean by self-care is learn how to set boundaries. And setting boundaries doesn't mean I'll say a lot of people take that negatively. Setting healthy boundaries means that you have a conversation with in every area of your life and let people know that I am trying to better my life in these ways. And I say start with the family because usually when you're at home, you have the most distractions, and it makes it very difficult for you to have the opportunities to reach your goals or take the extra steps to read a book, to get lessons or any of those things. But having those conversations with your kids, even little kids. So now that I have grown kids, I have 5 grandbabies. So they range from 14 to 5. So when the 5-year-olds are here, whether it doesn't matter what I'm doing, the conversation is, hey, Grandpa's got some things that I'm going to be doing for a couple of hours. When my door is closed, don't knock. If the door is open, I'm available. Now they're 5 and they understand. And no one has to talk to them 10, 12 times.
Right,
And it's not because I'm having a harsh conversation. It's me letting them know, hey, after I open the door, then we'll go have ice cream. We'll go out and play. We'll go out and do something. And let them know that they're part of helping me go do what they want to do. So you can have that conversation with anybody. Setting healthy boundaries is the first way to start owning the CEO of your life because you own your time. It's one thing that we cannot get back, guys. You can buy more everything, but you can't buy more time.
Yeah, that is true. Hey, what is JTDKB? What does that mean?
It actually stands for my 5 kids. It started from the youngest. It's Jay, Trey, Dentrell, Kenny, Benson.
Okay.
So I have 2 kids and 3 bonus kids, but those are my kids, just like the 2 I had when me and Greg met. So
there you go. Hey, Danny says, "Oh, my kids need Rachel's boot camp." Then,
hey, Danny,
I think it's
you can put them in boot camp. Just get them involved. You have to have a conversation from their level. You can't bring them to your level. You have to have it from theirs. What do they want? It's understanding what do they want as a kid. They just are they knocking? I tell people, are they knocking on your door because you haven't spent any time with them all day? You haven't cooked them any meals. They're biting for something. If you don't, you have to understand they are people too. Okay. I don't know where does everyone get their kids do what you say? They do not. They are people with their own minds. You just have to employ to their minds. You have to have a conversation with them from their level. Like I told you, I had my conversation with my grandson because even though they're twins at the bottom, the 5-year-olds are twins. The grandson is the one who opened my door. So I told him, I said, "Hey, Mari," I said, all I need, I said, when my door is closed, that means I'm in a meeting or I'm busy. But when I come out, we'll watch a movie, we'll play the game, we'll do whatever it is I know he wants to do. But if you give me this time, I said, because if I have to keep coming to the door, that means it's going to take me longer to get to us watching that movie or playing the game or eating that food. And then he understands that I'm never going to get that food.
Yeah. So can that CEO mindset go to younger people as well?
Absolutely. And the younger you are to start, the more you'll take ownership of things that are going on. But I have to say right now, the younger generation, regardless, now I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial in this statement. A lot of people talk about the younger generation doesn't want to work. And you hear it all the time. I'm going to tell you what I know for sure. They have options that us as the older generation didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you have people making hundreds of thousands of dollars off a podcast just like this.
Yeah.
So for them, they're like, why go to labor work? Why go into these type of fields when I have an opportunity to make money in this field easier? I'm not mad at them. What are we doing right now? We're all right here, right now, trying to be entrepreneurs and trying to find out how to work less. So I'm not mad at them. I mean, I'm happy for them.
That's what's up.
I'm just not taking care of any of them. Let's
there you go, right? No, my brother, you got to get your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you guys, if you want to get in contact with Rachel, that's the site down there. All right. What is it called? SayIamPossible.Kartra.com page, coaching mentorship catalog. All right.
So I'll let you guys know what's in there. So there are a lot of things in there that are free. So the 7-day challenge is in there that is free. That is about building commitment consistently so you can build up your confidence. It also has there are affirmations in there, and there also will be coming up soon. There will be things that that are more self-development focused. I give away so much information within my habits group on that email list that Ms. Danny talked about earlier. And yes, I offer a course that is paid. What I want to say to this: knowledge isn't free. However, you can find all the knowledge that I have. The 20 years it took me to get it on the information highway of Google and YouTube. It'll take you time. But remember, the first thing I told you that you don't get back is time.
That's right.
So you are not paying for the knowledge. You're paying for the speed of someone who could help you get that information. And it doesn't mean, for me as a coach, if you are looking to do anything in your life and you're stuck, anything, find someone who has done it.
Thanks.
I want to say this as well. There are some bad characters out there. And I'm one of these people. I'm a person of integrity. I've always been a person of honesty. There's some bad characters out there. When you guys are looking for a coach, and this doesn't, like I said, not myself personally or anything that you're doing. If it's for credit, I see a lot of people out here who say they can fix your credit. What you want to know, this is going to be my quick 3 tips. I wasn't even planning on giving it. Quick 3 tips. When you are looking for a coach, you want to know how many people have you helped, not testimony-wise. You want to see how many people have you helped. If they say I'm new to the game, you want new to the game prices. So if you're new to the game, and I mean, because people have knowledge. I was new one day. I was new. There was a day I started, and I couldn't charge what I charge now.
Right.
Not because I didn't have the same knowledge, but because I didn't have I hadn't seen the course work. Now I have testimonies who will tell how it works. But you want to ask that coach, how many people say it works? And if you don't have people, how did it help you?
Okay.
That's the first thing. 2, you want to know what they are going to provide you. Are they providing you information? Information with a strategy. Information, a strategy, and coaching. A lot of people, what I find out is that they're looking for coaching, but that's not what they paid for. You pay for information. So you need to know what they're offering you. Like for me, all of my courses include coaching, because to me, no matter how much mentorship, how much coaching modules I have, you're going to get more information talking to me and us having that dialogue. So I never feel that you can just give coaching. Now I'm not saying I'm not giving coaches out there who do a great job of bad name. I have a coach myself. I have a coach myself because right now I'm trying to go to a new level. So when you're trying to go from where you are to where you want to your next level, you need someone who's been there. I have learned over time, speed is worth my money every time, because it took me 20 years to get where I am.
Right.
Where I want to go, I don't want it to take 20 more.
Oh.
And that's a master class. That right there is and it's free.
Well, hey, Gina, don't say that because she might turn around.
She just gave free tips.
Greg, don't replay this episode, okay? Because I didn't even hear that out for free. So that's a good thing. But Rachel, you know what? The hour's up, man. We
wow.
It's never enough time when we have conversations.
And I'm still sad because I didn't get any questions from Gina.
Hey, you filled the air with so much info. We don't want to stop you. I mean, I know everybody wanted to hear what you had to say, and so we gave
usually
you.
I'm asking about 15
you the full
questions.
55 minutes.
So I just if there are any questions, please let Greg please put those questions in the chat, put those questions out there, because I want to make sure that I answer those questions. As I said, if you want to know how to work with me, I'm on all social media handles as Rachel L. Gary. So you can find me out there. I'm here to help always. And I'll say this, for a lot of time, I still do a lot of things free. I'm currently partnering with a couple of people. And over the next year, there will be several immersive events that we'll be having where we offer a free day to where you'll be talking to several coaches, including those credit coaches. And the funny part is, guys, I'm going to tell you what I did. I vetted them out. I wanted to see their testimonies. I wanted to see what they were actually doing.
Yeah. That's important. That's fantastic, Rachel. Number one, thank you for coming to the show, hanging out with us, and giving us these gems. All right. Number two, Big Brother love you to death. All right, for sure.
Love you to death.
I already know.
And really appreciate you.
No doubt. Mo, you got something you want to say?
Man, I was trying to ask 2 or 3 questions, and I froze because you started answering them before I asked. I don't know what it was, ESPN or whatever. I don't know. So, sis, I wish you the best of luck. You a great personality. You can see again the reason why people are attracted to what you do, because you're 100% genuine about what you do. Keep doing
Absolutely.
what you do.
Always has been. Gina?
I appreciate that, Mo. I really do. And I feel like I just gained a new brother and a new sister. Miss Gina, I will be reaching out. Believe me, as I said, this will be my first book, and it's going to be called #Poverty to Six Figures. So
I love that. I love that topic. I love that title right there.
Yeah, because I said this: when you live having a poverty mindset, you need to know how to get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You hit on so many things, Rachel, just in this hour that is, I know I can relate to, because I was a manager. I'm retired, semi-retired now, and I managed anywhere from 15 to 28 people, and you hit on so many things that is the truth. It is the truth. And so what you're saying, I know it's right. This is no gimmick. I know that it's right because I lived that life. I manage people now, and I also manage my own life. What I love what you say is CEO, which is Chief Executive Officer. That means you are Chief Executive Officer of your life, and that's where you should have it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It is, man. And Rachel, even though we had just these few minutes to try to gain this wisdom from you, all right, I want to invite you back to the show when you have time. I know we had to juggle this one around to get some time. But when you have time, come back so we can do part 2.
Absolutely. Hey, I might have to do part 2 once my book is out, because I'm gonna be talking to Gina, because I got to get it done. I gave myself a deadline.
We bring the Distinguished Authors Guild nominees on here every year, and then we bring back the winners every year, so they have a platform.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get the book.
And the Distinguished Authors Guild will be in Illinois this year. We've
That's
been doing
right.
it in Vegas every year. It's going to be in Illinois this year. So, Rachel, I got to see you out
November
there.
10th.
November 10th, Rachel, you got to come on out there.
Absolutely. Hold on, I got to look at my calendar. That's fine because Black Friday is my first immersive event, so I'm open November 10th. I'm gonna put it on my calendar right now.
All right, all right.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for coming to the show. I'm gonna send you the link for this show so you have it.
Thank you. I thank you. I thank you guys for having me, and I love what you guys are doing. Continue doing it. We need a platform where we can speak our truth. Keep making it happen. Thank you.
We love you being a part of the platform.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
Danny Marie says bless. And
thank you. Blessings to you as well.
We're gonna end it on that. Okay, this is Dope Living TV Live, man. We'll see you next week on Monday. All right. Until then, man, stay the CEO. Stay being the CEO. Continue to try to be, not try. We don't use the word try. Continue to be the CEO of your life. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you.
Peace out, y'all.